behind these fellas? Do you know?
If at all I said a member of parliament must be behind, that one I would withdraw and apologize. Okay. But I would also like us to share clearly in the Hansard. But I have withdrawn and I proceed now.
Yeah, proceed.
The next thing is on the issue that was raised by Aunda, that I am behaving as a one-man show. Mr. Chairman, you can look at the document I've tabled. That document will tell you whether the information I'm giving here is a one-man show or not. And therefore, it is not in good faith for a member to ignore all the documents I've given and accuse me. Because tomorrow, if you read the headlines, Kiunjuri is a one-man show. Really, it is not kind to the ministers.
Okay.
It's not kind to me. And Mr. Chairman, you should defend me also on that.
I will. The last
one.
What Honorable Uda was actually saying is your interaction with the committee. It's not about the other state departments. So I think that is where. But is he here? Yeah, so he was like he was suggesting that you should get involved more and inform, because it is also within the mandate of the committee that they are informed of the challenges as well as the successes of the state departments that fall under the Ministry of Agriculture and Irrigation. So proceed, CS, please.
Mr. Chair.
One moment.
I mean, just a point of...
Please, Honorable Tuitwek, allow the CS to make his submissions. We cannot just go on and on without first getting clarification from the CS.
On the issue of AFC loans, again, I would like to come and issue a statement on that, so that again we give attention to the maize farmer. The issue that is at hand. Yes, I agree. There are farmers who are suffering, who still have stocks, and they are genuine. I know where they are also. However, I cannot commit that we are going to open the stores again. We need to go through the process now, verify, verification is done, and if there is opportunity, then we can be able to look at it. On those who delivered, we only now have 971 farmers not paid. We have been allocated an extra 1 billion. By this week, we have been paying farmers constantly. We cleared last week, and we have gotten another 1 billion. And with the 1 billion, after vetting, because all these 971, we are going through vetting. Immediately you are vetted, you'll be paid. But we only now have allowed 100 that we are questioning. The rest, we should be able to start payment anytime end of this week or next week. We are going to pay them. The question of Mutunga, also raised by Leshomo, which action are we taking? Again, whether there is any difference between the registration we are doing and the vetting process that have been going on. I admitted the issue of vetting, the issue of maize and fertilizer, very uncoordinated. And therefore, we want to put measures into place now. And again, I would like to seek permission that I do presentation to members of the committee on the issue of registration, data correction that we are doing, so that you can also have your input before we roll out. The purpose of this data is to ensure that it is scientific. We use GPS, that if you tell us that you are a farmer in Moiben and you have 2 acres, we shall register you. You tell us whether you have other pieces of land. If you have you are not owner of the land, but you are on land, then again, we should be able to know and supported by the owner of that land. With this system now, we shall be able even to predict how many bags of maize we expect at the end of the harvest. Who is that farmer? And from our office, we can be able to see whether you have even prepared your land. The same data will be used to give government subsidy. either fertilizer or our other inputs. With the same data, we shall be able to give advice to our farmers, whether it is the issue of foreign armyworm, whether it is government subsidies, information relating to agriculture, the markets, and everything. It's a very elaborate data.
Honorable CS, thank you very much. Those were valuable input. What I wanted to come back to the members for more questions. What we have just been explaining is way forward, which is important, but it will come at a later stage. Right now, we want to exhaust the issue because quite a number of members have questions. We have just gone through the first stage, and so I would like now to allow members of parliament to make their to give in their questions. Honorable Cargo. Yes. Honorable Cargo hasn't spoken.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much. And thank you to CS for his elaborate presentation. And my question, I'm going to ask a question related to where you take maize after you take it from the farmers. Because you have just told us how much you NCPB buy from the farmer, but you have not elaborated where you take this maize. So where do you sell, at what price, what margins do you make? Do you make profits or losses after you, after NCPB buy maize from the farmers?
So I want just clarification. What was the question? Can you repeat that, please?
My question is, what happens to maize once it is at NCPB? Where do you sell it? To who? At what price? What margins do you make? Do you make profit or losses? That's the question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, my question, Mr. CS, thank you very much for responding to the questions. In the past, we've been buying maize from the field, buying centers. And this will actually cap the corruption which is going on in the cereals boards. Why can we adopt buying of maize in the field, field depots?
Thank you. I want to recall of Honorable Senior Wamalwa. Karibu. Just introduce yourself. I'll give you your time. But right now, I am sequentially going.
And I'm here in the capacity of representing the great people of North Rift who have suffered because of this scandal of Cereals Produce Board. I want to request my friend Honorable CS. I brought a law last time which was assented by His Excellency the President, the Fertilizer and Foodstuff Act now. I don't know whether he's conversant with that because they are supposed to establish a body that is supposed to help in terms of the distribution of fertilizers. Because this has been a scandal that has been going on, has been involving the National Cereals and Produce Board. And the core business of National Cereals and Produce Board, why it buys maize is for purposes of maybe controlling the issue of prices. And we've seen that there are many people behind this, members of parliament, we've had some from different big offices. Can the CS give us the specific names of the specific people who are behind these companies that have been involved in this scandal? And what measures are you putting in place, particularly the poor farmers who supplied this maize to the Cereals Produce Board, and we have the big cartels who have imported maize from elsewhere at a cheaper price, have already been paid. But this poor farmer who is suffering, whom are representing, when are you going to pay this?
Thank you.
And in terms of political responsibility, why can't you step aside as we do these investigations? I thank you.
Honorable Wamalwa, we have information, we have documents that have been tabled. Unfortunately, you came late. We'll pass to you all these documents with names, and so you can make you can peruse through it, and then we will be able to adequately be briefed. Honorable Joyce.
Thank you, Bwana CS, for the report that you have given. But as we've heard, everything in paper is excellent. Whatever you're doing, whatever has been done. But in the actual sense, there's a lot of cry in the ground. My question is, we cannot be waiting time and again, 1 month, 2 months. I would think it would be good if there were proper mechanism that you can even identify corruption in 2 days. Until you set systems in the right way, all this will be going on because people will know they'll continue. You always take 2 months or 3 months to notice. If things are not put into place well, I don't see. I see ourselves coming back here, just as the NYS, things have gone haywire again. Can you tell us how these systems will be put into place to stop this madness once and for all? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Yegon.
Thank you very much. Honorable Kamene has mentioned something that I was supposed to mention. And my real question is, when will these challenges facing farmers and blamed on cartels come to an end or a logical conclusion? Because every year in, year out, we are talking about maize scandals, we are talking about fertilizer scandals. What structural issues are we putting in place in order to address this so that we don't maybe suspend top NCPB officials every other time there is a scandal and we come back to the same cycle of
Thank you.
Of theft. And and you realize I think there are cartels in this particular sector that have actually held the maize and fertilizer industry at hostage.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I will allow the CS to answer, but just to complement the first question which was asked by Honorable Kago about how you procure maize, at what price, who do you sell to, and what profit margin you make. My reaction here is sometimes for strategic food reserves, you buy the price, the maize per bag at 3,200, and the going price in the market is 2,300. Then obviously you are not competitive in such a case. What happens when you have maize stock from the previous purchase that costed you 3,200, and now you want to release it to the market, but the market only allows you 2,300. What happens to the loss therein? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, first for the premium price that we gave this year, we were informed by the issue of drought that was there in the country and also the fall armyworm. We really needed to cushion our farmers, and that is why we gave that price. And therefore, I agree with you, that price is not competitive because if you go to the market, you can buy a bag of maize at 2,300 or 2,500. So I'm agreeing we are not competitive. However, the question on whether we are supposed to make profits or losses, we are not a profit-making organization. Again, if you look at our mandate, first is to support that farmer. Number two, to cushion the country. If there is hunger, we can release the maize. Number three, to stabilize the prices. For example, what we did last year, we even imported at a high price and gave out as a subsidized price to even mirrors. And therefore, whenever we buy, sometimes we make losses because when we give relief, we don't make any money. And we are feeding 1.5 million Kenyans year in, year out. On the issue of whether we sell, whom we sell to, mostly we sell to our mirrors, but also as an individual, you can go and buy. You can buy from us. The selling price is dictated by that particular period, but we shall not have any price that is aimed at us making any profit. So we are not profit making. Can we be able to buy directly from the field instead of asking farmers to bring? Definitely the logistics will be very difficult for us to do that. However, with the introduction of farmer registration and the way we have encouraged our farmers to form cooperatives, we can now be able to set buying centers at the nearest points from the farm gate. So that again, we don't have our farmers with 50 bags of maize or 20 bags being exploited. Because I'm agreeing again, if a farmer has only 20 bags and is living 50 kilometers away from the depot, the temptations are high that they must sell to that other person who can now afford a truck to take. So those are issues that we are looking at. We shall be asking for the input from those counties so that they can tell us, because we have subsidized this farmer, and for that farmer to get the benefit, how can we assist that farmer? And one way is to bring down the buying centers as close as possible to that farmer. With your permission, the soonest you would like, I would invite the committee so that we can now take you through the measures we are taking, so that, Joyce, again, you'll be able to see the system you are coming up with. We want it to be foolproof, that if you are targeting a farmer, it is that farmer to benefit. And with your input, we intended to do that, but with your input, you'll be able now to look at it and tell me, no, here, CS, although you assured us that you are correcting this, you need to do A, B, C, D. On the other hand, we have started restructuring. We had commissioned Ernst & Young to advise us on the way we can restructure National Cereals and Produce Board. We have taken the first action. By next week, you see us starting by advertising those positions, because we have had people acting in various positions for more than 10 years. And you know what will happen when people are acting? You can imagine you recruited a manager who was a degree holder, the deputy a degree holder. Over time, both of them are out. The most likely temptation is you get a clerical officer now doing the managerial job. These are things that you must address now. I'm here for the last 4 months. In support of my able CAS, PS, and my. I can assure you, again, we had said that earlier, that in the next 3 months, we are restructuring. We are going to put things into order.
Your mic, I think, is overheated. This one is working.
Can you hear me now? So that the farmer who is being targeted will be able to benefit. And for me, Mr. Chairman, my interest is that farmer. I have seen the interest members have. And with this farmer registration, if you work together, we shall have sorted this issue once and for all.
Mr. Chair.
Wamarwa, on the issue of the board, again, the matter is now resting with the Treasury for them to constitute the board. I can follow up with them, and I can give an answer to that at a later date. On the issue, let us stop at that.
Hello.
Yes, Honorable Mwirigi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is something which CS has talked about, the relationship about the ministry and the farmers. I wanted to know the relationship which you have with the farmers. If you hold forums earlier with the farmers before the crisis explode, and if you facilitate for the public participation to discuss